More selling. Can you guys hear that tick strike all right? I'm just pulling up YouTube, guys, so bear with me 1 second. I wish it was like a one button thing, but it's not. Okay. Let me put it in the Discord for the free peoples. Okay. So these conditions are my kryptonite. Traditionally, I do really bad when the market just relentlessly sells off. Why is that? I know, based on my journaling and my trading, that I have an inherent bullish bias on the equity markets. All right. That's probably because of buying stocks and in my portfolio, and I have a retirement account. I want this stuff to go up, right? I want to buy the dip. You know, we just came off a pretty bullish couple of years, and it's just ingrained, right? So when I see big sell-offs like this, my natural reaction is like, I want to buy. But when I'm day trading futures, that can be an absolute terrible idea, right? Because we can keep going and not come back all day, right? So I'm aware of that. So I have to be very, very, very careful. I need to be very patient on days like today. And I need to make sure that I wait for good setups and good trades, right? Bob has an inherent bearish bias, right? So when I traded small caps, Bob, you know I was a short. I only shorted small caps. I had an ingrained short bias on small caps because we traded these garbage companies that always would pump and then dump. I was always trying to catch the dump, right? That's where I made my money. So yeah, you know, that cognitive bias, that inherent bias, when we're day traders, particularly of futures, because we're highly leveraged and we can catch both long and shorts very easily. So we have to be very careful of our inherent biases. Okay, no dice on the tick strike sound. Damn it. I literally have the microphone right up to the speaker. Huh. My data shows I prefer longs. No matter what we're doing, we can be selling off like going to Hades like this, and I'm trying to buy. Ooh, look at that. We got news coming out, guys. That's what this is all about. Be careful. Very thin market. Let me pull up the DOM here so we can see the. Look at that. This thing's just whipping around. There's no liquidity here, guys. So be very careful. This thing could skip 20 points.
Voice is disconnected.
Okay. Inflation, PCE, price index came in
0% below the forecast.
a little lower.
Consumer spending month to month 0.7%, 0.7%. Private forecast of 0.6%. Personal income month to month 0.5%, 0.5%.
A little lower than forecast.
Forecast of 0.4%. Real personal consumption month to month 0.7%.
Get a little scalp out of this one.
Forecast of
Ooh, yeah.
Personal U.S. pending home sales change month to month.
That put me up over $2,000 on that. 2150. All right, I'm gonna switch to MNQ, guys. You know, this is just my greed starting to take over here. And I want to keep trading with you guys. Normally, I would just shut it down here, lock myself out, and call it a day.
0.4% from the original prior of the 0.3%. Core PC price index month to month prior revised to 0.5% from the original price.
Getting a little bit here.
Core PC price index year on year prior revised to 3% from the original prior 2.8%. Pending home sales month to month prior revised to 2.1% from the original prior of 2%. And personal income, I revised.
All right, guys,
0.2.
buyers are stepping in.
Original buy of
The Mag 7's lighting up like a Christmas tree to the upside here, so careful with your shorts.
The original buy.
Now, this could be a temporary just squeeze before we go lower, so let's see what happens.
For the release for the implicit consumption.
Don't get too excited about a big reversal here. There's nothing that proves a reversal. We are bearish on everything aside from the daily chart right now. So
you're extending decline after.
if you're not scalping momentum, be very, very careful.
Last out about 0.2.
Guys, for those of you, welcome on YouTube. I stream for free for the first 30 minutes of the morning. Happy to have you. I go all morning in the Discord for premium members till about 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you ever want to check that out, there's a free trial for that for an entire week. You can get that in the description of the YouTube video. Hope to have you join us. We got a great crew, great traders, a lot of us following the same trading system. Yeah, I could go to practice account. I don't mind trading some micros here. You know, I'll play it very cautiously, you know, from my lips to your guys' ears. I'm going to wait for good setups. And, you know, I don't want to give back my money. This is a good day. I'm almost up 5K in the last just over 24 hours. That's a lot of money. I don't care who you are.
Book goes slightly extends losses after USDC data. Last down about 0.4%.
All right. How's everybody trading this morning so far? It's been quite the wild ride. All right, so we, again, I mean, look at this, guys. This has just been... All right. So far, this is holding. If we could break back into this, we might get a little bullish move on a return to value. However, look at our VWAP, guys. This is a price discovery VWAP if I've ever seen one. I know it's tempting to want to buy this stuff, but be very, very, very careful. Shorts are mostly on the table right now. So, and it's very hard to short down here. Right? We've been selling off all morning. We're down 2.5% on the NQ. We're down 2% on the S&P 500. Gold is even down spot 6. Oil down 1.1 spot 6. Bitcoin holding it, hanging in there, guys. Bitcoin is hanging in there. Bitcoin finally holding on to its store of value status for once. Never bought that argument, but Jay, beautiful. Good stuff, man. Jay made over 3K so far today. 80% win rate. Look at that. Those are scalping statistics. 341 green trades, 85 red. Scalping his face off over there and doing well. Yeah, JD, that's a good way of staying safe, man. Just be careful of the inevitable squeezes that happen during the downtrend. You got your shorts taking profits. You got all the longs looking to get in for the reversal. And then you have the longer, higher time frame shorts covering, right? And that creates for these squeezes that we inevitably have on these downtrends. Now, I have different levels on MNQ than I do on NQ. So I watch NQ, I do not watch MNQ. So on my TradeAvate account here, guys, that you can see with the DOM and all that, don't pay attention to the levels. Don't pay attention to the VWAP bands or the volume profile on this. We're going to look at TradingView. So spent less than $100 in commissions, guys. I made not much more than this yesterday, and I spent twice as much on commissions. A lot more scalping, smaller moves, but beautiful nonetheless. Very happy. All right, some selling pressure coming in here. We still held lower band here. So the setup is price continuation short. You're probably a little late here. But we could get another 50 points at least if we retest these lows. Oil, downtrend, long-term downtrend. All right. We're still bearish here. Shorts on the table for oil. Gold, really just in a giant value area. All right. So don't get too caught up in these moves because we are still in value on the higher time frame on gold and in the midst of a pullback on the higher time frame. All right, on Q, let's do this. Drop our volume profile. All right, so we're still in this distribution here. Okay, so we're testing the value area high of this distribution. All right, I'm not convinced until we push into value and we break through this low volume node and break out of this current distribution we're in. So you're going to get some sellers right here. But the fact that we've been selling off all morning and we have our shorts covering, there we go. There's a good push. I'll start a little position here. I'm going to try and get back in on the bid here. We sell off a little more. There it goes. See, it's testing this low value area. Now it could really pop if it breaks through it. You're going to get a lot of selling pressure here. Now I'm going to look for the back test of the band. I'll add one more micro and see if we can get a reversal. Otherwise, I'm going to get out of this thing. All right, I added there. Goes. All right, now I got one. So I scalped that little back test of the band. It could go much further, guys, but I am not convinced. What I don't like about this trade is this right here. We're buying right into the top of this value area high in the biggest distribution of regular trading hours. So I took a small profit on that. 2 micros. PCE. Year over year is 2.3%. It was forecast to be 2.2. Previous was 2.5. No, nothing too earth-shattering at all. Trying to push out of this distribution, but there's a lot of people are going to be selling here. That's the problem. I don't want to buy into the top of the biggest distribution so far on the regular hours. I mean, we could get a big move, sure. But also, I don't typically buy into value area highs. All right, it's pushing now. I'll refresh a little bit on the bid here. Now that's starting to really break out of this value area. Beautiful. Now we could still get a rejection here. So what's happening now is we have this second smaller distribution. So this is going to have its own point of control. Value area high, value area low. And all these levels are relevant. And they're all kind of squished together here. So we got this level here.
Seeing shares of Amazon down about 3.9% in broader market sell-off.
All right, so the return to value trade has been a success so far. See if we can get all the way back up the VWAP.
This FP piece.
That's 100 points away.
2 hours ago. It's being put out by some of the major news wires here. But just detail anyway into what had happened. US and Ukraine ran into last minute hurdles on Wednesday as they were on the verge.
So this is kind of a random area we stopped here. I'm not seeing any real level of why we went here.
Of course, we've already had headline not too long ago for the ECE data.
All right, back up to point of control on the session right here.
The draft said that the draft deal does not outline how money US Ukraine
right here
spent or who controls fund spending decisions, and the minerals deal does not cover Ukrainian energy or post infrastructure.
And we're building another point of control on this distribution here.
So that Financial Times piece is updated at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So not too long after the draft deal headlines came through.
The session 618 aligns with value area high on NQ. Okay, guys, looks like we're catching a little bit of a sell-off here from point of control. Higher time frame setup. Bought. Oh. Very precarious price action.
Just with an FTPs, I said it is 2 hours old, but getting a bit more wider notoriation now from some of the other major news guys here.
It's like algos battling it out. Very whippy. I really don't like this kind of price action. I'm gonna get out for a scratch here if I can. Doesn't look like I can. Let's see here. See, now we're coming up to this thin area here. A little more right here. See if we get a little. Otherwise, I'll get out. So what I'm looking at is the point of control here on the higher time frame. Got 4 micros here. Ripping against me, not happy about it. See what happens here. I would expect a little bit more chop at the point of control.
Minutes away from the bottom of the hour now, where we get the US crude oil inventories data. Forecast for the crude oil inventories of a draw of 0.579 million. Prior was compared to the prior of prior build of 0.244 million. Also looking at a range of 1 million to a draw, a build of 1 million to a draw of 3 million. Gasoline inventories looking for a draw of 1.437 million. Prior was a draw of 4.476 million.
I'll be shocked if we get a V-shaped recovery here.
Looking for a draw of 1.7114 million. Prior was a draw of 2.353 million.
Oh, this is down about $140 right now.
Cushing inventories. Prior was a draw of 0.086 million. Let's take a look at the API.
We are coming up to the top end of this.
API crude oil stock change came in at a build of 3.76 million, compared to the expected build of 0.39 million, and compared to the prior build of 4.565 million. Gasoline stock change came in at a draw of 3.14 million, compared to the prior draw of 2.18 million. The Distiller stock change for API came in at a draw of 2.52 million compared to the prior build of 1.64 million. And Cushing stock change came in at a build of 0.674 million compared to the prior draw of 0.354 million.
Sellers stepping in a little bit here.
In a CNBC interview, NVIDIA's CEO Kwon says, "I'm certain we can manufacture chips onshore with the resources of our own nation."
Not thrilled about that trade. I got out of it for a little profit. Looks like it back tested the value area high and ripped, so I was able to get out for a small profit without turning into a loser. I was down about 160 at its peak, which is not, you know. I really don't want to get back any money today, though, guys. So I'm up 2,200 bucks. I had 4 MNQ there. So guys, I traded pretty aggressively pre-market. I'm up $2,200 in my cash account. I hit a lot of this stuff. I traded a lot of this over here. If I switch over to NQ here, you can kind of see where I did a lot of my trading in this distribution here, and then again down here. And then I switched over to MNQ to preserve capital a little bit. We're getting these big rotations. Yeah, I saw we were right at point of control. I expected a little bit more resistance there, so it might happen up here. All right, look at this single print area right here on the volume profile. So, you know, maybe 305. Right around here. I don't know. Gold. Gold, yep. Is that upper band here?
5 minutes ago, we had the EI equivalent inventories forecast is for draw of 0.579 million.
All these people are looking to get short, right? And they're just getting squeezed out of their shorts.
1.427 million. The prior draw of 4.
Nobody wants to buy this, so everybody's looking to short, and everybody's just getting squeezed out.
1.714 million. The prior draw of 2.353 million. Crude Cushing inventory.
Sellers keep trying to push this thing down and it gets bought right back up again. Candle after candle. So, you know, the move would be holding all the way to VWAP, which, you know, that's going to take half an hour, an hour.
US is Moran says US.
If it does happen at all.
In trade negotiations.
So it's also the last day of the month.
White House chief economist.
I put my trading numbers together for the last day of the month. I don't want to ruin it. My numbers. I'd like to finish on a strong note. And 5K in 2 days is strong. On top of the $8,000 payout I got from Top Step.
NVIDIA CEO Huang says China is right behind us in AI development.
Okay, we're approaching that 305, which is it's going to be the start of this value area high on the session here. for this big distribution. So this is an interesting area to short. We might get a capitulation to the upside, squeeze out the last bit of the shorts before we go down. So I don't know. I kind of like the idea of scaling into a little bit of micros here, short. So I'll start with 1. If we go up a little higher, I can add 2.
Pakistan says they will respond strongly if India escalates situation.
Me and every other retail trader are probably trying to get short. So here we are. Crowded trade probably. I added the P&L here to the line so you guys can easily see that. So that's something I was able to do so you could see my current P&L in any trade. Any attempt to sell this thing gets crushed.
1 minute to go now. We'll lead with crude oil inventories.
All right, so I'm going to add 1 up here at 305, and then that's it. All right, now it's kind of ripping, so wonderful. I was expecting kind of that capitulation, right? So let's see how it does. I'll give it like 150 bucks, I guess. So this is the top of that volume area here on the higher time frame for the entire session.
10 seconds.
But bulls have control of this thing.
Draw at 2 spot.
We do have an initial balance. Oil inventories coming out.
Expected draw of 0. Expected draw of 0.579 million. Gasoline inventories. Draw of 4.003 million. Draw of 4.003 million. Expected draw of 1.427 million.
ES is almost a VWAP too right
Bill
here.
of
So
0.937
interesting
million.
spot.
0.937 million at the expected draw of 1.714 million. Crude Cushing inventories, a build of 0.82 million.
Jesus.
Keeping an eye on WTI, I did see a little bit of movement towards the upside off the back of the bigger than expected draw on crude and gasoline inventories. Nvidia's CEO says Huawei is formidable. And has
ES is at VWAP.
in AI.
We're at the top of this distribution. All right, that's my 150. I'm out. Right to VWAP too. Watch this be the spot. Just don't want to be caught on the wrong side of this recovery that's going to take place all day. ES is now above VWAP.
We have posted out the EI weekly trading stage report.
Let it move,
Financial
guys.
news feed to agree with.
I gave up about 150 bucks on that trade.
Also, Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister Dar says Pakistan demands independent product.
Deadlift video, you got it. All right, we're starting to get some sellers here. Do I try again? Let's do it. You pushed me out of this thing again.
VWAP Governing Council decided to implement changes to the dedicated Eurosys overnight credit facility, which serves as a crisis-related liquidity backstop for eligible euro area central counterparties. Yeah, that's CCP changes to dedicated credit facility for euro area CCPs. ECB says this discretionary activation will no longer be required to ensure prompt.
All right, going for the VWAP bounce on NQ here. To the short side.
The CCP credit facility will be immediately available to eligible euro area CCP.
This is going to be the last loser I'm willing to take today.
Seeing US Brent crude features pan losses despite EIA data showing the price US weekly crude stocks draw. Also seeing US gasoline futures pairing losses after EIA data.
Yes, back under VWAP. Okay, well, I essentially made my money back that I lost in the first trade on this one. So now it's back testing the point of control on this higher distribution.
Weakness says we're in a time of uncertainty.
So back to 2200. And guys, I really don't want to give back any more of this profits today. I had a really good day. So if you all don't mind, I'm probably going to switch over. I do trade ES. I do trade ES still, but I've just been having a lot of success with NQ. I mean, they trade very close together. I'm pretty fast, so I have a lot of success with NQ because of it. I'm able to scalp it really nicely. And look at this. This VWAP bounce could play out to the tick, guys. Look at this. I don't know if I trust it quite yet, but all right, I'm going to switch over to something else here real quick. this.
Also did see from NVIDIA's CEO Wang saying that Trump should revise rules for AI chips export, and that Trump has a good plan for tariffs and AI.
Okay. What a beauty that was. Big sell off. We're probably going all the way back down. I'm gonna test the they're gonna buy that up and push it through. Very possible. Probably get a little more downside. So that return to value trade went all the way, and that's a trade. Okay. VWAP bounce entry was all the way up here. What happens when you get in late? Let's try it again. Like it short. So the problem we're running into here, this is kind of a back test of the value area high. Oh yeah.
Ex-Vice President Sheinbaum says he was easing of tariffs on the auto sector. This is a step forward and a recognition of the North American trade agreement.
So I went right to that, to the tick, before buyers got found. So let's put the so it kind of looked like this. G, G. And here's the value area high. Now I could go like that. I could go like this. VWAP Bounce short, guys, in real time.
Just a heads up, Alphabet's test buying.
A lot harder to short after it's been, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 5-minute candles of straight buying. Trump is speaking in 20 minutes. Good to know. Yeah, the slow melt up. Yeah. Really hard to pick a pivot without feeling like you're chasing price, you know? Jay said slow melt up after strong momentum down is the worst. Yeah. Unless you're long, I guess. All right, guys, on YouTube, thanks for joining us this morning. What are the black boxes? Let's see where the. Appreciate you guys watching this morning. We stream for the first 30 minutes of the trading session live on YouTube for anybody looking to check us out. We trade up until 12 o'clock in the Discord. If you guys want to join over the Discord, we have a 7-day free trial. You can go check that out. There's a link in the description. ES does not respect those VWAP bands. Okay. Sure it doesn't. You can just back test and look at it. Here, let's no, that's great. Let's take that comment into consideration. Now, it doesn't respect them all the time, right? It's got to break in and out of them eventually. That's why we have more than one setup. We have ones off of them, and then we have a return to value. But, you know, let's go with your argument, Mr. Zero Float, that ES does not respect the VWAP bands. All right, let's take a look at some charts. Let's take a look at ES. Now, Zero Float says ES does not respect the bands. Okay. I mean, it might not always respect it to the tick. Sure looks like it's respecting these deviation bands here. Let's see. Well, there we go. There we go. There we go. So, Zero Float, I would recommend downloading my actual guide about how to trade the bands, because it's not just it respects the band. If the market did anything 100% of the time, we'd all be millionaires, and you probably wouldn't be looking for trading stuff on YouTube, right? It would be easy, but it's not. This is really hard stuff, and there's a lot more to it than just buying and selling bands. Okay, I don't want to put anybody under the impression that it's as easy as buy when it touches the band, because I promise you, if you do that, you will lose money. Now, there's a robust trading system behind the VWAP bands, along with volume profile and initial balance. But to tell me that, you know, these levels aren't respected is just absurd. Right? I don't just use them. Institutions are using these tools too. But thank you for joining us on YouTube. We're going to keep trading in the Discord, guys. Thank you.